Welcome back, dear friends. Today, we're diving into a topic that could genuinely save you a decade of regrets, detours, and second-guessing. Yes, you heard it right. 10 years of your precious life could be saved with just 2 powerful questions. Now, before you think this is some quick-fix life hack nonsense, let me ask you, have you ever looked back at a choice, a relationship, a career move, a decision, and thought, what if I had chosen differently? Would my life be better now? If you've ever felt the sting of regret, then this conversation is for you. Here's the thing. We all wonder about the what-ifs in life. We regret paths not taken, obsess over past mistakes, and sometimes get stuck in a loop of blame, blaming ourselves, others, or even the universe. But what if I told you that regret is not the problem? The real issue lies in how we process those regrets and the assumptions we make about them. Today, we'll explore 2 simple yet life-changing questions that not only help you make peace with your past, but also shape a wiser, stronger, and more resilient version of yourself. Inspired by ancient Stoic philosophy and sprinkled with real-world examples, this discussion will be both eye-opening and actionable. So, whether you're rethinking your career, mulling over a broken relationship, or just wondering why life hasn't gone as planned, stick around. And hey, don't forget to share your thoughts in the comments. Let's build a space where we can reflect, grow, and learn together. Oh, and while you're here, hit that subscribe button so you don't miss next week's wisdom-packed session. Ready to unlock those 2 life-saving questions? Let's jump in. Question 1. If the current path seems wrong, would an alternative have guaranteed success? How often do we torment ourselves with thoughts like, if only I had taken that other job, if only I had married someone else, or if only I had chosen a different major? It's a universal human tendency to look back at the choices we didn't make and idealize them. We paint these unchosen paths in vibrant colors, imagining they would have solved all our problems. But here's the hard truth. There's no guarantee the grass would have been greener on the other side. Consider this. What if you had taken the better job but faced an even more toxic work environment? What if you had pursued a different career only to discover it didn't align with your true skills? Stoicism teaches us to examine these fantasies with rationality. Marcus Aurelius reminds us to avoid assumptions. Why do you add to the pain of what you already feel by imagining things that haven't happened? Most of our regrets are rooted not in reality, but in idealized versions of what could have been. Think about relationships. You may regret being with someone who hurt you, but who's to say that the next person would have been better? Regret is often a trick of the mind that amplifies the flaws of our past choices while completely ignoring the risks of alternatives. The unknown is not inherently better. It's just unknown. So before you spiral into what-if thinking, pause and ask yourself, do I know for certain that an alternative path would have been better? Or am I idealizing a reality I've never experienced? Question 2. Is the failure due to the path itself, or because I haven't prepared myself? This question demands brutal honesty. It shifts the focus from external blame to internal reflection, a cornerstone of Stoic philosophy. Epictetus said it best: men are disturbed not by things but by the views they take of them. In other words, before condemning a choice or circumstance as wrong, we need to evaluate whether we are the ones who haven't done enough. Imagine someone who constantly complains about their career. They switch jobs repeatedly, convinced that each one is the wrong fit. But is it the job that's the problem, or is it their lack of skills, work ethic, or adaptability? Marcus Aurelius puts it bluntly: the impediment to action advances action. What stands in the way becomes the way. Instead of blaming the path, the Stoic approach is to ask, what can I do better? This applies to all areas of life. In relationships, is the repeated failure due to choosing the wrong people, or because we bring unresolved issues to the table? In learning, is it that a subject is inherently too difficult, or have we not dedicated enough time to master it? In personal growth, are we genuinely stuck, or are we unwilling to confront uncomfortable truths about ourselves? This question requires humility. It's not about beating yourself up, but about taking responsibility. Epictetus reminds us, first, decide who you want to be, and then act accordingly. To succeed, we must acknowledge our role in shaping outcomes, and that means owning up to our shortcomings. Practical exercise for clarity. To apply these questions effectively, Here's a quick exercise. Take a piece of paper and divide it into 2 columns. In one column, write a regret or challenge you're currently facing, e.g., I chose the wrong career. In the second column, answer the 2 questions. Would a different choice guarantee success? Reflect on both the opportunities and risks of the unchosen path. Was the failure due to the choice or my preparation? Be brutally honest about your own role in the situation. By the end of this exercise, you'll often find that the regret isn't as justified as you thought. You'll see that every path has challenges and that your greatest power lies in preparing yourself for whatever comes next. These 2 questions are not just intellectual exercises, they're tools for freedom. They pull you out of the endless cycle of what-ifs and guide you toward a life of clarity and accountability. And remember, as Seneca so wisely put it, we suffer more in imagination than in reality. The moment we let go of idealized fantasies and focus on what we can control, we take the first step toward a life of peace and purpose. Are you starting to feel the power of these questions? Hold tight. There's more to explore in the next section. Now, my Stoic friends, let me tell you about acceptance and the power of your choices. Life has an uncanny way of leading us down paths that we later question. We replay our mistakes, fixate on lost opportunities, and convince ourselves that a different choice would have led to a better life. But what if this isn't the case? What if regret isn't about the decision itself, but about how we perceive and respond to it? This is where Stoicism, a philosophy grounded in logic and self-discipline, offers clarity and guidance. Let's dive into how this ancient wisdom can help us rethink regret and make peace with our choices. One of the core principles of Stoicism is that our perceptions, not events themselves, shape our reality. As Epictetus wisely said, men are disturbed not by things, but by the views they take of them. When we regret a decision, we often magnify its flaws while idealizing the alternatives. This mental habit leads to a distorted view of the past, where our failures seem catastrophic and the unchosen paths appear flawless. Marcus Aurelius warned against this, reminding us to focus on the present moment. You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength. Consider a common scenario, a failed career move. You chose a job that didn't pan out as you'd hoped, and now you're plagued by thoughts like, if only I had taken that other offer, I'd be successful now. But the truth is, you don't know what that other job would have entailed. Perhaps it would have come with a toxic boss, overwhelming stress, or a skill set you weren't prepared for. As Seneca put it, we suffer more in imagination than in reality. Regret often stems not from the reality of a choice, but from the stories we create about what might have been. Stoicism also teaches us to view mistakes and failures as opportunities for growth. Instead of labeling a choice as inherently wrong, we should ask ourselves, what can I learn from this? Marcus Aurelius viewed adversity as a natural part of life, writing, "The impediment to action advances action. What stands in the way becomes the way." When we encounter setbacks, they are not dead ends but detours, opportunities to build resilience, refine our skills, and gain wisdom. The key is to shift our mindset from blame to responsibility. This brings us to another powerful Stoic concept, control. According to the Stoics, there are 2 realms in life, what we can control and what we cannot. Regret often arises when we obsess over things outside our control, such as the outcomes of past decisions. But Marcus Aurelius reminds us that you can leave life right now. Let that determine what you do and say and think. The past is unchangeable, but the present is where our power lies. By focusing on what we can do today, rather than what we should have done yesterday, we free ourselves from the shackles of regret. Now, let's apply this to personal relationships, an area where regret often lingers. Suppose you look back on a toxic relationship and think, if only I had chosen someone else, I'd be happier now. While it's tempting to blame the relationship entirely, Stoicism invites us to look inward. Were there patterns of behavior or unresolved issues that contributed to the toxicity? As Epictetus said, first, decide who you want to be, and then act accordingly. Growth requires us to acknowledge our role in the dynamics of our relationships. This doesn't absolve others of their faults, but it empowers us to take responsibility for our part and to grow from the experience. Stoicism also emphasizes the importance of accepting life's inherent uncertainty. No path, no matter how carefully chosen, is guaranteed to be smooth. Regret often springs from a desire for certainty, an impossible standard. Marcus Aurelius captures this beautifully. Accept the things to which fate binds you, and love the people with whom fate brings you together, but do so with all your heart. Instead of lamenting the unpredictability of life, we should embrace it as an opportunity to adapt and grow. Every decision, even those that don't go as planned, contributes to the mosaic of who we are. In modern life, it's easy to feel overwhelmed by the sheer number of choices we face. From career paths to personal goals, the options seem endless, and the fear of making the wrong choice looms large. But Stoicism teaches us to simplify. Focus on what truly matters. As Marcus Aurelius advises, if it is not right, do not do it. If it is not true, do not say it. By aligning our actions with our values, we can move forward with clarity, regardless of the outcomes. Ultimately, the Stoic approach to regret and choices is about reclaiming agency. It's not about avoiding mistakes, but learning from them. It's not about controlling every outcome, but mastering our responses. And above all, it's about recognizing that life is a journey of growth, not perfection. So the next time you find yourself haunted by regret, remember, the power to transform your life lies not in the past, but in the present moment. As you reflect on these ideas, consider this final thought from Marcus Aurelius. The happiness of your life depends upon the quality of your thoughts. Choose thoughts that empower, guide, and uplift you. The rest will follow. So we've just explored 2 life-changing questions and how to apply them to every aspect of life. These questions: would an alternative have guaranteed success? And is the failure due to the path or because I wasn't prepared? May seem simple, but they have the power to change how we view the past, live in the present, and plan for the future. Through relationships, careers, learning, and personal growth, we've learned that regret is not the real issue. Instead, it's how we handle and understand regret that truly matters. Stoicism teaches us to stop focusing on things we cannot control and to focus on what we can, looking honestly at ourselves, taking responsibility, and using every opportunity to grow. Remember, no path is perfect, and no choice guarantees success. What we always have is the power to decide how we react, learn from mistakes, and shape the person we want to become. As Marcus Aurelius said, the obstacle to action advances action. What stands in the way becomes the way. Now, instead of wasting time on what if or if only, you have the tools to turn regret into lessons. What matters isn't the path you chose in the past, but how you move forward from where you are now. Face life with calm, reason, and careful preparation. By doing so, you'll not only overcome challenges, but also build a life filled with meaning, confidence, and wisdom. So my Stoic friend, are you ready to apply these 2 questions to your own journey? Let every decision, no matter how small, be a step forward toward growth and success.